Every day, there are millions of Pokemon that are neglected by their trainers. But of those neglected, there is a specific set of Pokemon that are most forsaken. These water psychic Pokemon are the most in need of our help. Slowbro and Slowking go without proper water holes. Groups of Starmie have their Jewel covered in muck and Garbodor, with no trainer willing to do their part. The other day, a flock of Golduck on the side of the road, with no bread being fed to them, were starving. For just a few Pokédollars a day, you can... hang on.
What do you mean Golduck isn't part psychic?
So in my seemingly unintentional series of water psychic types in Gen 1, I had a suggestion for Golduck by one of my friends, and I learned Golduck is only water. Yeah, it is only pure water. Same for Psyduck. I promise this isn't a Mandela effect thing either, but I think I have a few guesses as to why people think it's part psychic. The anime is probably the main culprit here. Misty's Psyduck kept using psychic abilities, which is the whole foundation for it in the anime, so it makes sense for it to evolve into a psychic type. The other is in the names of both Psyduck and Golduck. You think they got that first part mixed up when localizing because Golduck clearly isn't gold, and Psyduck is yellow, which is close to gold. I don't know if I believe that 100%, but it makes sense, so let's go with that. Also, quick footnote, apparently people with psychic powers possess golden auras, so that's maybe where the name comes from, but the only reference I found for it was on a Wikipedia article, so make sure you don't hurt yourself on that gigantic stretch right there. And the Pokédex entries aren't helping Golduck's case either. The Emerald one specifically says, and I quote, "It uses psychic powers when its forehead shimmers with light." That's about as psychic as you get. And the other dex entries aren't as straightforward, but still reference amazing powers from the gem on its forehead. But Golduck is just straight up water. So let's talk about Golduck's stats, moveset, and if it was actually worth anything in Gen 1. Spoiler alert, it's really not. The stats aren't bad, they're just not particularly good. It is in the top third of base stat totals of the original 151, so that's okay, and the stats are all pretty well rounded out, only differing by 7 between the highest and lowest stat. But its lack of excelling at anything doesn't quite make up for it not failing in any particular aspect. The moveset though is what really is lackluster about this Pokemon. Its moveset is pretty poor. It does learn Hydro Pump at level 59, and its next best move is Confusion. Disable is a good move, but it's not the endgame move that you really want. And get this, it can't even learn Psychic through TM. The only Psychic move that it can learn this way is Rest. Aside from most normal and water moves, its TM learn set isn't great either. It can learn Mimic, Ice Beam, Blizzard, and Dig, as well as 3 fighting type moves, but they're not great, so they're not going to get much utility here. Overall, I was pretty disappointed by this moveset. For those wondering, it does get a much better learn set by Gen 4, but we ain't in Gen 4. Now as the run starts, I need to tell you a quick story about this video. One of my friends suggested I do this run a while back, like back during the summer. As I'm typing this, it's October 8th. So Golduck is named Nathan after my buddy that suggested this run. Sorry it took me about 3 months for this. I started the run on July 23rd, and then I finished it on August 23rd. Listen, I have a valid excuse. Also, I named my rival Dibble. I'm sure I had some great reason for the name, but I genuinely have no clue why I picked it. So if you've got any clue as to why I picked this name, I would love to know what you're thinking. One quick thing about the run too, I'm playing this on 2x speed, so the timer on screen is the real time, and the in-game time will be posted at the end of the video. Now, Golduck only starts out with 3 moves: Tail Whip, Scratch, and Disable. I thought the stat difference might give me an easy win over the optional rival battle, but it sure didn't work out. Spearow took me out, and on the second attempt I lost to his Eevee. This is not a good sign for the beginning of the game. I did squeak by Spearow using Disable and Tail Whip, but that did set me up for a quick downfall on Eevee. Instead of trying to be smart, strategic, whatever word you want to go with, I just used Scratch over and over, like little 8-year-old me did. Tail Whip? That move doesn't do damage, so why would I use that one? Now look, Brock's gym should have been easy, just on the fact of the water advantage alone. But since I had no water moves, I was just scratching rocks. The junior trainer in the gym was an easy battle, so I was a little optimistic. And I beat Brock on the first try. I was honestly kinda surprised. I used Tail Whip and Disable on Geodude because in yellow, Brock's Geodude only knows Tackle. So even though I was getting hit by Struggle, Geodude was doing recoil damage to itself. And then Disable got rid of Onix's Tackle, so it only had Bide and Screech. And to avoid getting hit by anything else, I just went for Tail Whip, and disabled Onix again. So Scratch wasn't doing much, but it was doing just enough to whittle it down. And I really should have lost, but Brock tried to be too strategic. If he had just attacked, I would have lost, but I didn't. I think because of my disable strategy and using Tail Whip, I do deserve the win, even with all the luck, but if you disagree, cool, good for you. I picked up the Water Gun TM in Mount Moon, giving Golduck a very much needed stab move. It didn't hurt Jesse and James nearly as much as I wish it would have, and because Coughing poisoned me, I actually had an incredibly scary close call with poison. But that's what antidotes are for. Should I have counted this as a reset if Golduck fainted outside a battle? I guess that's really just a matter of opinion. The rival battle on Nugget Bridge was so much easier than even the Jesse and James battle. Eevee is the only one of his Pokemon that posed any threat, and even then, it just didn't really do much of anything to me. Before going and battling Misty, I went through the house that the rocket broke into and got Dig so that I had a very strong physical move. Dig has 100 base power in Gen 1. All the power of Earthquake, it just takes 2 turns. Amazing. So amazing that it one-shot Misty's Staryu. I was hoping it would be just as strong with Starmie, and it wasn't. Starmie loves to use Harden, and if Misty keeps using X-Defense, that adds to the defense. So I kinda just used Tail Whip over and over and over, then finally got a big hit. Since it's been so long since I actually recorded the footage, I have no idea what my goal was with Tail Whip here, like if I was planning on getting so many defense drops to negate the Harden or what. Take your best guess at that one, but that's what I came up with. The battle with Dibble on the SSN was unbelievably boring. Partly due to the fact that I grabbed Body Slam, my personal favorite Gen 1 move. I deleted Water Gun though, losing my stab move. I want to say this was done with the knowledge of water moves not going to play a major factor in the near future, and by the time I need one, I'll have access to Surf. And Dibble's team could take an extra hit or two, but they couldn't stand up overall to Golduck. Lieutenant Surge did take 2 resets, which is about what I expected. Surge has terrible AI, but he just needed to use 1 Thunderbolt to roast Golduck. The first attempt I actually landed a dig, but 1 Thunderbolt did the job. The second saw me using Tail Whip twice, and getting hit with Growl twice. So everything just canceled out. And the actual win was kinda lucky, but I don't particularly care. I avoided a Mega Punch, used Body Slam, and paralyzed Raichu. This gave me the guaranteed first hit with Dig right afterwards. This battle could have been very disastrous, and I'm glad it only took 2 attempts, with no grinding needed. After arriving in Celadon City, I grabbed the Ice Beam TM, and promptly froze all of the grass types in Erica's gym, except for Erica's team. I didn't feel good about battling her quite yet, so I went through the Game Corner hideout, took out Jesse and James, took out Giovanni, who didn't put up any fight whatsoever, and then took a crack at Erica. And this battle could have been worse, I guess. I couldn't one-shot her team. And the grass type moves were just way too strong for me. I took another shot at it and the same result. It's just not gonna work out right now for Golduck. Also, I'm recording this right now and realized I never typed anything up about the Pokemon Tower rival battle or the Jesse and James battle there. I mean, here's the footage. There was nothing important, so, you know, it's here. With Erica going to take a little while before beating her, I headed for Koga, and I really hoped that Dig would take out the poison types. And I took out 2 of Koga's Venonats, but poison did Golduck in. I always forget that bugs resist ground, and so I was just hitting really hard, but not hard enough. So I went to grab Surf, then headed for Saffron, because Koga and Erica's gyms just weren't happening right now. Battling the grunts in Silphco made for a good few levels, and I even left some of them alone just so I wasn't overleveled. The rival battle really concerned me at first. Not really because of his team, but because of Jolteon. The rest of the team literally caused no issue. I even had the option to learn Confusion during this battle, but at 40 damage, it's just not good. Jolteon did make it interesting. It hit with Thunder Shock, but Golduck survived. 1 dig was enough to take down the Lightning Dog, and it wasn't even a crit. So, call it fortunate. I think that just means Golduck was stronger than it needed to be. And the final battle with Jesse and James was a complete cakewalk. I mentioned it on one video, but they seriously missed an opportunity not having Jesse and James show up at the end of Victory Road for one final battle. Having the final battle in Silphco, little anticlimactic. And the Giovanni battle wasn't too bad. I had Surf, Dig, Body Slam. I could handle just about everything he threw at me. And Giovanni's obsession with using items gave me free hits, so it was even easier than it needed to be. Now I hope you're ready for a revolving door of pain and suffering. Sabrina's battle was not a one and done. If she didn't have Flash and Kinesis, I really think I could have won this battle on my first try. But accuracy moves are the bane of my existence. Like I've mentioned, I recorded this footage 3 months ago, so after just 2 tries, I headed back to Koga. Not sure why I didn't just keep trying for the win against Sabrina, but oh well. I really hoped this level jump would make the Koga battle more doable, and I still just wasn't strong enough to push past the toxic damage. So with no progress being made in any way, shape, or form, I took out all the karate nerds at the dojo in Saffron. I took out all the psychic nerds in Sabrina's gym, and then took another crack at Sabrina since this seemed like the most doable battle at the moment. And 2 more attempts on Sabrina proved I still just couldn't handle it. Kinesis and Flash didn't even do me in here. I was able to hit hard, but Psychic just hits harder. So back to Fuchsia City we go, because maybe something will happen to move the game forward. Dig was just not the play, because like I said earlier, bugs resist ground moves. For some reason. That one has still really never made much sense to me. But Body Slam does half health to the Venonats. I got incredibly lucky with Koga using items at inopportune times. And when I really should have lost, I paralyzed Venomoth with Body Slam, took a Psychic to knock me down to red health, then I opted for Dig, with the paralysis giving me the first move, and got a crit. I finally could make a little progress in the run. And since I had the type advantage over Blaine, you better believe I moved straight on to Cinnabar. And even though Surf is not the strongest water type move, it's definitely in my top 5. I didn't knock out Ninetales in one hit, but the tiniest sliver of red health kept it alive. And then a crit on both Rapidash and Arcanine made for the easiest battle of the run. I had the option to learn Fury Swipes too. I passed, obviously, just wanted to include that in the script. I headed back to Sabrina's gym to take her on, and I still couldn't one-shot her whole team. One Body Slam left Kadabra in red health, and it hit with a massive Psychic. Then my first Body Slam paralyzed Alakazam. After, Sabrina used an X-Defend. Then it went for Psywave after being hit by Dig. Psywave is really bad. I'm so glad it used this terrible move, because I genuinely could have still been working on this video. And when I went to the final gym battle, I realized I forgot to battle Erica. And with such a large level advantage, I assumed I could beat Erica with no issue. And I did. So that was very nice to have happen. I had to go back and actually watch my videos on Slowbro and Starmie to see how the Giovanni battle went with these water types. I was at a much lower level in those runs. I did have no issue with Giovanni with Golduck though, just surf the day away on this guy. To be fair though, Golduck doesn't have the stab psychic advantage that Starmie and Slowbro had, so maybe the level jump was necessary and kinda evens out. I'm just gonna keep telling myself that. And I'm just gonna stick to the good part of the rival battle. Nothing on the rivals team is dangerous to me right now. But Jolteon was able to just land a Thunder on me and destroy me. And somehow I won this battle. For some reason I got rid of Body Slam for Mimic, used Mimic on Ninetales, and started blowing through Tail Whips, even when they were having no effect. I'm seriously hoping I wasn't thinking the badge boost glitch would take effect, but I genuinely have no idea why I did this. The only thing that I can possibly think of after watching the footage is that I was trying to get Ninetales to use its Tail Whip on me as much as possible to actually boost my stats. But who's to say? Choosing this did put me in a gigantic hole, and I'm not sure why I didn't just reset from here. The battle didn't go particularly well from here either, but I reached Jolteon with just a sliver of red health, and Jolteon used Thunder Wave, missed Thunder, I landed a Dig. Then because of AI, Dibble used a potion, and thank goodness it was just a regular potion, because this stroke of luck got me the win. And kids, here's why you don't get footage and not use it for 3 months. I was getting ready to talk about Lorelei being the first Elite Four member to battle, but for some reason, I gave myself 2 resets and battled Dibble again. I guess I really wanted to keep Body Slam for the Elite Four. There's not a really good reason for me to have Mimic in the Elite Four, in the battles that I would struggle with anyways, so I guess that's why I reset. Strangely enough, I didn't beat Dibble on the first try after this with Body Slam, but then I did win, so... Guys, I don't know. Seriously, y'all, don't record footage and not use it for 3 months. It is not a good idea. Now, in the Elite Four, I expected Lorelei to be a tough customer just because of the type matchup. And not to mention Cloyster's stupidly massive defense. And then throw in Slowbro's ridiculous defense and special stat. And yeah, this whole situation was just garbage. Then I didn't play the game for a month, so the rest of this footage only comes from 2 months ago. Listen. Beginning of the school year, peak cross-country season, I was busy. I gotta keep up the coach part of my name or else I'll get called a fraud by people I don't know on the internet. After grinding a few levels, and no, that wasn't what took a month, I had a good lead on Lorelei's levels. She still wasn't an easy battle. Dugong is just bulky enough where it doesn't go down unless there's crits, because Rest recovers its health just in time. Cloyster and Slowbro's defense and special are still too much to really handle quickly. Jinx isn't that bad, but Lapras is a tough final battle. It's strong and bulky, the worst combination for me. And I really don't want to bore you all with just a mindless play-by-play, so I'll have the footage going in the back of this commentary. I got insanely lucky against Lorelei when I finally won. Getting paralysis from Body Slam, landing crits, Lorelei using moves that are non-damaging that have no effect on the battle, it was just an incredibly fortunate couple of turns for me. And after such a remarkable battle with Lorelei, Bruno's battle was unbelievably forgettable. Sorry, bud. Agatha was also forgettable. Not a single thing happened that was worth noting. Dig one-shot all of the ghosts, and the bat and the snake were super easily dealt with. Lance was also nothing. Keeping Body Slam was the best choice because it saved this battle. Ice Beam took out the dragons, Surf was a one-shot for Aerodactyl, and Body Slam paralyzed Gyarados. That was what kept it from being a loss if I had to put money on it. Now for the final rival battle, it took just a few attempts to finish him off. Sandslash was knocked out by Surf in one go, every time. And I was faster than Alakazam, and Dig could take it out on a critical hit. I just had to hope that if it used Kinesis on me it would miss, or just straight up miss one of its moves. Executor was as bulky as expected. It liked to land killer leech seeds on me every time, but Ice Beams would take it out after about 3 turns. Cloyster is still bulky. I didn't have a fast way to take this one down. This is where my run ended on the first battle attempt. And the second attempt. And the third attempt. The fourth one saw Alakazam using Recover after taking Dig, so no damage taken from it, or any accuracy drops. And even though I was leech seeded, Executor didn't stick around for too long. A paralysis from Body Slam was very, very nice on Cloyster, and as it turns out, Surf is the way to go. It did enough damage to whittle it down fast enough, and then poor Ninetales, I kept using Surf and it drowned. Then Jolteon used Thunder Wave, paralyzing me, but at least it didn't use Thunder. I went for Dig. I expected to miss or be stuck by the paralysis, but I landed the hit with Dig, with Jolteon still hanging around with just a... Oh, that got it. So my rival's starter wasn't even the biggest problem. It was that stupid Cloyster. So, at level 63, and around 4 hours of gameplay, Golduck is not very good. And that's really kinda sad. I've never used Golduck or Psyduck long-term in a playthrough of any game, and this has basically shown me that I never should. Don't think I'm happy making this statement, it's just not good. I'm definitely not the best strategist that makes these videos by any means, but I don't know what else I could have done to make Golduck much better. Sorry, little duck boy. Have a great day, bud. As always, thank you so much for checking out the channel. Leave a like, comment, sub, all that stuff. It really helps out the channel. Let's have another video before 3 months goes by this time, okay? Have a great day, make good choices, and until next time, see you later.